Good day, children. Today in this video, we will see the poem Grandma Climbs a Tree by Ruskin Bond. My grandma was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she would climb trees, spreading or high. She would be up their branches in a thrace. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she would had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. Yes, my grandmother was a genius. Okay, whose grandmother? The poet's grandmother, Bond's grandmother. He's saying that my grandmother was a genius because she would climb trees. Okay, spreading or high, whether the tree it is like it's spreading tree like banyan tree or a high tree like a palm tree. She would be up their branches in a thrice, like very quickly she would just climb the tree. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62 years. That is, she was 62 years old. Ever since childhood, she would had this gift. She is having this gift of climbing the tree very quickly, for being happier in a tree than in a lift. And though, as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. She would laugh and say, "Well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better." And we had to agree, for in all the garden there wasn't a tree. So what happened? As she grew old, as grandma was growing old, she was advised not to climb trees as it looked disgraceful. Everyone was advising her not to climb trees. However, she did not pay heed to this advice. Heed is like paying attention. So what happened? She did not pay heed. That is, she didn't give any attention to their advices. H-E-E-D, heed. She hadn't been up at one time or another, having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. But it was feared by all that one day she would have a terrible fall. The outcome was different while we were in town. She climbed a tree and couldn't come down. So what happened? Grandma, she learned climbing trees from her loving brother at the age of 6. But they all had a fear that she would someday have a terrible fall. Okay, now something happened. The outcome was different while we were in town, where others were not there in the house and only grandma was there. She was alone. And what did she do? She climbed a tree and couldn't come down. Okay, then she climbed a tree and she was unable to come down. Okay, now what happened? Grandma, she climbed a tree and she was unable to get down, right? Okay, after the rescue, a rescue came from somewhere. So after the rescue, the doctor took Granny's temperature and said, "I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed." The doctor said, "I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed." That is, she's not well. Let her be in the bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Okay, what is tucked? Like tucking your shirt in. Usually we use this word for garments. Okay, but here the same thing has happened. They tucked her inside the house and they didn't let her to get down from the bed. Poor Granny. For her, it was like a brief season in hell. Okay, what is brief season in hell? A short time in hell. A brief season in hell means a short time in hell. Confined to her bedroom, while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. What is confined? Kept someone in one place, often by force. Yes, And the poet is also saying that while every breeze whispered. So, what kind of poetic device has been used here? It's personification. Okay? While every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. Again, the leaves has been personified. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted. Undaunted means still determined and enthusiastic despite problems. Even though she was having problems, she was very determined and she was feeling so enthusiastic. Okay? That a house in a tree top was what she now wanted. Okay, she wanted a tree house. Okay? That is all she wanted now. My dad knew his duties. He said, that's all right. You will have what you want, dear. I will start work tonight. Okay, now what did Bond's father said? That he will start his work tonight. And he is going to do it along with his expert assistant. He soon finished the chore. He soon finished the task. Made her a tree house with windows and a door. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with glasses and tray. She sits there in state and drinks sherry with me. What is that? Sits there in state. To step up a position and mark it your own. Often used to describe the seats of important people such as king and presidents. Okay? And drinks sherry with me. What is sherry? Strong yellow or brown wine. Okay? Upholding her rights to reside in a tree. Upholding here is making clear to the world her right to reside in a tree, to live in a tree. Summary of the poem. The poem Grandma Climbs a Tree portraits Ruskin Bond's love for his family. Ruskin Bond in this poem tells us how his grandmother had her passion for climbing trees from a very young age and how she could climb trees till the age of 62. The only problem was that Bond's family was scared that one day she would fall. Once, when everyone except Grandma was out of town, the old lady climbs a tree but is unable to come down. After being rescued, as Bond puts it, the doctor advises her rest. However, Grandma is not able to live without a tree, so she tells Bond's father to build a tree house. Accordingly, Bond's father built a tree house, and this way Bond and his grandma spent evenings sitting in the tree house drinking sherry. This poem shows the unconditional love Bond has towards his family. It shows his ability to enjoy unusual events and actions. Thank you, children.